It's 4 o'clock and I'm alone. Let's see what happens. You have now entered the agency. I'm your host, Agent Mbey, Bey, and I'm doing my first Clubhouse. Luckily, I already did this content, so this will just be the question section of the original video about assessing your art career, and then I'm gonna probably talk a little bit more about my own experience moving to California. But first, I gotta wait for some people to hop in here, so we can get this conversation going. But you know, I'm waiting for that to happen. Check the artworks. I just made those today, along with 3 other paintings that are right in front of us. I mean, if it's just me, then it'll just be me, and I'll just start right now talking about what it's been like to live in California and trying to restart my art career. A challenge. First things first, I came here with the mindset that things were going to be slow at first. First off, I moved during the pandemic, so access to art institutions or organizations or events, I knew was probably going to be minimal. Now, back in Norfolk in Virginia, I was plugged into the places that were hosting art events, so I was more comfortable participating in events if they were having them. In California, San Diego specifically, I didn't have those same connections, so I'll have to try to make some of those connections and then attempt to turn that into participating in events and things like that. Now, luckily, when I first got here, a couple weeks or days into it, actually, my partner Elisa had sent me something she found online. It was an opportunity to paint utility boxes in collaboration with the San Diego Museum of Art and Mindful Murals and San Diego Gas and Electric. I've talked about this plenty, so you can check my Instagram stories and see all that. And my YouTube channel, you can see all that. But that was a project that I was able to do. I did, then make some connections with some people. But for the most part, other than that, I wasn't certain. And one of the other big issues was when it came to like exhibiting or anywhere where I would have to present my artwork, I came here with very little artwork compared to what I have in my collection of work. So I didn't have much to work from. I brought pretty much works on paper. And those works on paper, I would, the best I could do with those is frame them and try to exhibit those. But most of them weren't created as, final pieces or anything like that. They were most of them were like explorations and experiments. So I didn't really have a plan for those other than to just have them here for inspiration, so I could be reminded, or I can go back into this bag and create from this space, yada yada. I had no empty canvases and nothing like that to work from. I did bring empty sketchbooks, but that was my plan. Like, I'm gonna work some sketchbooks, get back to the basics of my work, and that's what my focus has been. I had to create a couple of challenges for myself in order for me to create, to figure out what bag I wanted to be in. So once I made some like definite determinations on that, it made it a lot easier. So I did my April Agents exploration. First, I started playing with watercolor first when I got here. I was doing watercolor. I was also teaching during this time too, so I had to do some art for my class, so that helped a little bit. But outside of that, I mean, that really wasn't too like content inspirational as much as it was like meat materials or whatever. But it did force me to buy some materials. So, but I did my April Agents challenge. It forced me to draw. I did up to 20. I did 20 drawings of 20 illustrations of agents. So that made it easy to get into that bag. And then, who was it? I did a program with Ella Fair Entertainment, and that was a Zoom and paint. So that forced me to buy some materials for painting. So I bought some canvases, just small D size, 8x10s. Bought some 8x10s so that I can do that exercise or event which they got me, messing around with paint in the ways that I like to use paint. So then I bought a bunch of canvases from Michaels. So Michaels had the 70% off canvas sale. So I went and copped a lot of them. I got like 2 big ones, 30 by 48s, 2 18 by 24s, and that pack of 10 8 by 10s. So that I knew I had at some point I was going to create on them. But what I tend to do is I tend to like not create when I have those things, because I'm like, when I get to the canvas, I want to put like that final piece, that whatever I want it to be on there. I don't go there just like hoping it'll come out nice. Like the more materials I have, the more I'll just put whatever I can on it. But when I only had like 2 large canvases, I was like, I got the ability to make 2 nice pieces for a long time, and I got to sit with those 2 for however long until I get some new. So I bought those canvases. Then after a couple conversations with some friends, I had just determined that I was just going to start painting abstract. Between that and some other things that inspired me, I was like, I'm just going to do some of my abstract geoscape styles and explore that for a while. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time, but I've just always been like wanting to put a figure on it or something, or paint something that was more figurative, or what's the word? Starts with representational. So I was like, this is the perfect time to just like try something new, because I'm in a new space. There's no real expectation as to what my artwork should look like or can look like, and I know to what extent that I create. So I was like, let me just get into my abstract bag, and I can just kind of mess around with my materials for a while. And so from buying some of the materials from when I did the mural, using a lot of those, I wanted to explore, some of those materials too, like exploring using household paint or exterior, whatever, latex paint, interior latex paint, whatever. So exploring using those materials, for one, they're a lot more affordable than for the amount that you get. You pay $20-$30 for a gallon of paint, as opposed to, $20-$30 for a tube of paint that you might get from an art store. So it's really a matter of what the material and medium is doing for you as the artist, as opposed to it being a high quality product. You can use low quality products, but if it's creating the result that you want, then use that, because it has more of a reason or meaning. So that's what I've been doing up until now. So my newest project coming up is my Geoscape West series 100 for 100, where I'm working on doing 100 8 by 10 abstract styled paintings and selling them each for $100. And kind of hit some of the outdoor art fair type of events as they are available. So just get me out into the community and start selling some work, start bringing in some income, so that I can start to put some things back into my studio practice, to be able to budget for more things. So that's where I'm at with that. But in the midst of all that, it's created a reason for me to look at my art career and assess where it is that I feel like I am as an artist, especially coming into a new space and having to reestablish myself in a sense. I don't feel like I left Norfolk or Virginia as an established artist. I left Norfolk with a locally established career, to where my name was ringing bells here and there. I left it with a really large project, and actually, as of news today, I just got the piece that I worked on in Norfolk, the asphalt mural project I did. Gather in Abundance was the title of it. Was featured in a New York Times article about these projects that were happening all around the nation. So shout out to Norfolk and Virginia for that project. But again, this is a Virginia based. Like, I haven't participated in or like won any exhibitions, anything like that while I was in Norfolk, or juried exhibitions. I haven't accomplished some of those goals yet, as I would like to. So as far as like the recognition of an established or emerging artist, I haven't reached. But as I discussed in my other video, I speak a lot more towards the current state of art today and how you can achieve a certain degree or level of success without all of the establishment achievements or accolades, you know. So you might not have museum exhibitions or, you know, art critic or major galleries trying to get at you. You know, you might not be playing in the NBA of, you know, of the art world, but you might be able to build enough of a following on your own to create the level of success you want as an artist. So defining yourself by your craft and defining yourself by the success you achieve as you pursue these things is a completely different story. I think there's still, you know, a space for that in the traditional kind of art world, but because of the explosion of social media, the need for it isn't as crazy. You know what I mean? Like, galleries are looking for artists to bring their following to them, as opposed to them building artists to become to push the artist or whatever and get people to buy into that artist. It still happens, you know. I just learned about this recently, but, you know, the idea of the kingmaker, to where, you know, the establishment determines who's gonna be popular and can say, oh, this art, I'm collecting this artist now, so they're hot, or this artist is thinking of music, like this label says this artist's music is dope, so now y'all should start listening to him and they become a superstar, you know. So that's in the, you know, that's kind of in the reins of like looking for fame as necessarily a recognition in the arts world in that way, if that's what you're looking for, trying to hit the history books or something. But I mean, you could break the internet with your art and make the history books in another way. You know what I mean? And in this day and age, you can create your own. You can create the history, because there's no, you know, we're realizing in this day and age that, like, there is no one side to the story. So if you're if the story is your legacy as an artist and your effect on your community, and that story gets passed down and upheld through, you know, generations, then you've done well to affect, you know, history in the ways that you look to. So I'm gonna cut this video here because that's really the story that I wanted to tell. My Clubhouse is not popping right now. I'm gonna keep that 100% honest. Which is cool. You know, I really was I did it just to kind of test it out, see what I can, you know, I've been thinking of ways I can, you know, interact with people differently in the community. So being able to hop on and have these conversations with people will be dope in the future. I joined a couple of other people's in the past week. I only had this like a week, so in the past week I've, you know, hopped in a couple of other people's Clubhouse joints that popped up, just to see kind of how the format, how people kind of interacted with each other in that space, see if it was more formal, informal. And most of the ones I hopped in, I was just like in the middle of it. It was all like informal, like, how y'all doing, what y'all got going on. So I don't know, you know, I'm probably gonna start, you know, hopping in some of those and interacting with people in that space. I can't help it that I'm like a lecturer. I'm an educator to some, you know, I'm an educator, so I like to just talk and have conversations. So that's kind of the platform that I use this, and, you know, something like that, you know, will be used for. It's just kind of share knowledge and educate people, mainly based through my experience and what I've witnessed through other people's art careers, and getting people to come on and share their art careers or their experiences as artists. So, you know, shout out to you, shout out to me. This is Agency Arts, and, you know, I'm out of here. Boom, boom. And, you know, go check my other videos, rock with me, and, you know, if this thing pops off, I'll probably have another recording up of it. But if nothing happens over the next 14 minutes, so by like 4:30, then I guess I'm gonna just slide out. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Peace. Mbey, out of here.